How you guys doing today? I hope you're doing all right. This is Marcello over here with Cocktails with Chello, doing an outstanding, having a great time this evening. So I hope you guys can hear me just fine. Now, I want to get some of the particulars out of the way as I normally do. Right now, let you know that all opinions are solely my own and do not reflect the opinions of my employer. The reason why I bring that up is because I work for the second largest recycling and waste company in the nation. And if we haven't met before, hi, how you doing? My name is Marcello 𝗟𝗚. I provide recycling and waste services for businesses right here in Metro Atlanta. So be sure to let me know if you can hear me good on your end. And also, let's see, make sure I can hear all my audio on my end as well. So give me 1 second as I bring up my audio on my end. Let me see here. And Tony, you can hear me okay on your end? Okay, good. Thumbs up. Okay, good. So now, other thing I wanted you to let me know if you are team live. Let me know if you're a team replay as well. Either side of the team, I definitely appreciate that. Let me know also what type of where in the world you're watching me from. If you're watching me from Atlanta, Georgia, New York City, and my favorite place, which is Bangladesh. So be sure to let me know where you're watching me from. As well, you could also join me in the conversations in the comment section as well. So be sure to do that. We're going to be answering a lot of your questions because essentially this is what this event is about today. Ask me anything. So we're going to be covering a few topics I put out there so you guys can ask me things like, how to get your stream, your live stream going, how to promote it, things of that sort. But ultimately, I'm handing the show over to you guys so we can have an open discussion. And be sure to share the stream with your network. If you hear something you like, you definitely want to get engaged, be sure to do that. And also, don't be shy. Click that reaction button. If you hear something you like, or something is along your lines that you say, you know what, Marcello, I like that. Or Tony, you guys right on it. Be sure to hit the reaction button. Don't be shy. And then lastly, to be staying in the loop, make sure that you follow Cocktails with Chello. That's hashtag Cocktails with Chello. And now this show is being broadcast on YouTube, Facebook, and also we're going to be going live shortly on the Clubhouse. So be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel there as well. So let me see if I can bring up my dude here. The dude with the $1 million smile. What's going on, my dude? Tony Alexander, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Give me 1 second. Facebook, and also we're going to be going live shortly on the Clubhouse. So be sure to subscribe to reboot it on my end. Okay, there you go. So now I can hear it in my ears as well. So that's what's important to me. So I see here. We got the heavy hitters in the house. I can see this already. I see Usama is in the house. What's going on, sir? Thank you very much for being in the building. That's what I'm talking about. I saw you earlier today talking to Jackie. So thank you very much for showing me some love and coming through. Carmen Murphy, this woman has the heart of gold. Thank you very much for coming through. I appreciate that. And I'm going to check my email as you requested. So I'll be sure to do that. Carolyn, this woman, boy, if Carmen has the heart of gold, this one got 2 hearts of gold. She's amazing. Maria, this woman never sleeps. Thank you very much for coming through, Maria. I appreciate all the support and love. Yolanda, this woman lives on LinkedIn. I love her. You know what I mean? Thank you very much for showing support, and I appreciate that as well. And Michelle, I haven't heard her. I haven't seen her in a minute. So thank you very much for coming through and showing some love to your dude here. I appreciate that. Bernard, much love, man. You're always coming through. Thank you very much for all your support and in the comments as well, watching me live. And this dude, if you haven't watched him or you're not connected to Mr. Roger Wakefield, you better. This guy has one of the best streams ever. And he has actually a quite remarkable story. So if you're not connected with him, please be sure to connect with him. He has some great live streams. His background, he was a plumber. He still is a plumber. But this guy has, I tell you, the best way to put it is he has an outstanding, remarkable story. So definitely recommend you to do that, to connect with him. Roger, thank you very much for coming through and supporting your dude here. I appreciate that. And Carmen, she's also chiming in from Chicago. Summer, what's going on, man? How you doing, Miss Summer? I'm sorry to say, man, but yeah, I got excited to see you. Thank you very much for coming through from Texas. There you go, showing up. Ryan, show him this guy. This guy, boy, I tell you this much. He asked like the best questions. If you're not connected with him, be sure to connect with him because his podcast, he always manages to ask, like, what is the best barbecue restaurant in your town? I mean, he'll ask you like a random question, like, oh, wow, hold on a second. So he'll get you going. No question about that. I got LinkedIn user in the house. I got to see who that is on my end. And yeah, 𝗚𝗵𝗲 said, yeah, that Jackie was definitely a shining star. No question about that. Oh, I should have known, Miss Beckworth. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And then Maria, she's live from Philly. I appreciate that. So now let me ask you this now. Thank you very much for joining me today, Mr. Tony Alexander. I can't thank you enough for that. You know, you've been on this journey with me for some time now as well. So I wanted to get some insights from you now before we go into the room on the Clubhouse. Think about it. Well, before I launch the room, while I do launch the room, I'm going to give you the opportunity to share a little bit about yourself, what you do here on LinkedIn, and also why should folks connect with you on LinkedIn, and then I'll be launching the room in the background while Tony talks. Okay, go ahead, Tony.
Definitely, Tony. Currently, I am a tutor and a advocate. I currently for the largest company in the world, doing consultant work around HR.
Tony, your audio's hold on, so I may lower this. There's a bit of feedback on you, and I just want to give you a heads up on that.
Okay, no problem. How's that now? Good. Okay. So again, I do D&I work and HR consulting for one of the largest companies in the world, a Fortune 50 company. In addition to that, I'm very advocate in the community. I work with different organizations from voiceover to the NAACP to the National Urban League, just a smorgasbord of things that I do. But one of the biggest things that I'm proud of is I'm an advocate for people in foster care, which is where my humble beginning began. So I have a profit foundation called A Chance in the World, and the second one is called Day One Bag. Day One Bag is actually created for children in foster care, because what people don't know is they actually, when you transport it or move from home to home, you actually given a black trash bag to put all of your belongings in. So after some years, one of my mentees and I got together, and as of, let's say, late December, we just distributed about 100,000 food packs or backpacks, whatever your choice, to kids in foster care, so they can have something that belongs to them. Why connect with me? Well, people tell me I'm the plug, but I'm very diversified in the things that I do. So whether that's helping you with personal self-development, I am a certified career coach, whether that's helping you with something in the job, whether you're job related in terms of employment law, why that? I do have a JD in employment law. So just you know, a lot of if you want to connect with me, just to connect with me, hey, do that. Chance to fight myself there.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And as you can look in the comments there is a bit of an echo. I'm not sure if it's coming from me. I'm trying to figure that out on my end. So let me actually see if I could actually just take that off. In the meantime, let me hear you. Can you go right ahead, Tony?
All right. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Okay. I don't hear you. So let me actually change it here. Yeah, I could hear you, but I think that that's the only drawback about the echoes coming through on my end. Yeah, a lot of the folks were saying, that hey, what's going on, Senor? Thank you very much for coming through. And then Kenny saying hello. And Yolanda's giving a shout out to Tony. Yeah, we got the bit of an echo on that boy. I see 𝗖𝗵𝗲 saying that he's coming through from Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. Wow, that's pretty far. I would say that, but that's pretty far. So thank you very much for coming through. Now let me ask you this now, Tony. Oh, do me a favor. I think that I pinged you. Did you see that
Let me see.
on
Clubhouse.
yeah, see if we could jump on that one. You can still be on a video, but let's talk on that one. Maybe that could address the echo in the meantime. And I'm gonna type you in there, Tony.
Yeah.
You see it?
No, I don't.
Okay. You know what? And I'll oh, you know what? Bring it up on your phone. I send the link to you via DM on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So now, okay, while he does that, I want to let you guys know what I wanted to do. Okay, I got Bill Bradford in the house. What's going on, sir? Bill, thank you very much for coming through from the Republic of Pittsburgh, PA. He's a mess. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Tony. And I see that Kenny's jigging with him there. All right, so this is so I'm going to let you know before I get started. The reason why I'm starting at 8 o'clock is that I reached out to a lot of you guys and I asked you guys. I put out a poll and I asked you, hey, what time do you guys want Cocktails with Chello to start? And it was unanimous. It was close, but still, I guess it wasn't unanimous, but it was like 46% of you guys were voting for 8 p.m. And this is the reason why we're starting at 8 p.m. rather than 6:30, 7, or 7:30 like I have done in the past. What's going on, Michelle? Thank you very much for coming through. I appreciate that. I haven't seen you in a minute. So that's the reason why. So now, as I mentioned before, this is going to be, Ask Me Anything episode. So I'm curious to know what you guys. Okay, see, Tony, I see you that you're in the group, so I appreciate that. I'll mute you over here in StreamYard. So then, there you go. Let me. I'll mute you. There you go. So then we just use the audio from StreamYard. So now, from Clubhouse. Now this is so a lot of you guys ask me, well, Marcello, how do you are getting the audio from Clubhouse into the stream, or questions like, I see that you've been live streaming for over 18 months. What did it take for you to actually start doing it? Things like that, so I'm just curious to know, you guys watching this video now, what are the things that you are interested to know either about Cocktails with Chello, about me? What do I do for 9 to 5? Generally, I guess the best way to put it, I'm turning over the show over to you. So that's the reason why. So now if you are on Clubhouse, you could join me there. As you can see, we have Brian in the house right there. And Brian goes by Brian Happy, as you see there in the screen. So let me invite my dude Brian. If he wants to talk, I'll bring him up to join. And let's see here. All right, so I'm inviting him up to speak if he wants to chilly willy with us. So that'd be cool with us. So let me bring this up, and I'll make Tony a moderator. Look at that, boom! You're a moderator, dude. So you get So in the meantime, Tony, go ahead and ping folks to join us in the room. And same thing, also, Brian, be sure to ping folks to join us in the room as well. All right. So in the meantime, let me see here what Mr. 𝗶𝗰𝗄𝗍 says. So how does Chello deal with clowns in the comments? Well, and this is what so that's a good question. I've been lucky when it pertains to comments or craziness. I can't remember the last time I actually had a kooky comment, for that matter, on either a comment or on a post, for that matter. I've had, let's say, spam sometimes on to be expected. Spam on YouTube. Some of the posts that I put, they'll have like some random link and whatever and blah 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 blah, and I just comment wow or whatever, you know what I mean, because it's nothing absurd or nasty, so there's no big. I don't have a big deal with that. So, but yeah, I haven't had any issues with that. So. No, curious to know, anybody that's watching the stream and even on Clubhouse, what are the things that you guys are wanting to know? What are the things that you're challenged with? I'll give you a little bit about myself. I work, as I mentioned every single time in the beginning, I work for a recycling and waste company. So I'm a salesman here in Metro Atlanta. So my goal is to connect with organizations and qualify to see if there's even an opportunity for us to even do business. So not necessarily that I'm actually looking for business. I'm actually trying to find individuals or companies to make sure if we are a good fit. So that's what I do on 9 to 5. And then I come here on LinkedIn and YouTube, Facebook, and also on Clubhouse and find ways how I could share my wisdom, if you want to call it wisdom, you know what I mean? But just knowledge and experience. So now I wanted to reach out to Tony and ask him, like, Tony, let me ask you this. Now, you've been on the show quite a bit, and I'm sure people, after they connect with you, they're like, hey, Tony, can I bend your ear? That's the classic, Just curious to know, like, what are the things that you like to either educate, mentor, or share? What are the things that you have a passion around that, people might be able to ask you some questions on?
Started 2021 with about 380 or so. Um, but I help them to become their best self. And that's just passionate for me. I don't charge anything for my mentoring. I just ask them to pay it forward in the future, of course. But I also help people who are actually stuck in their business, and not just around D&I and HR, but just the business acumen itself. Just being able to do that. And for me, as the backdrop to me is, I spent 15 years in corporate America. And one of the things that I did was, as they say, you should date your job until you marry it. And, things had become so toxic in the culture that I had made a decision that I wanted to exit corporate America. So what I did was I actually wrote a letter to myself explaining why I wanted to leave and on what day that I was going to leave. And when I ended up leaving, it was actually the exact date that I said I was going to leave. So I tell that to say is I help people to build career maps. I help them to build discovery maps of themselves. I help them to identify, human lighthouses. And what I mean about human lighthouses, how do you serve as a lighthouse? What is the purpose of the lighthouse? It's to guide the sea, to prevent the sailors from damage, or from danger, rather say. Even though lighthouses are no longer used right now, they are actually symbolic of someone there that always shines. And I think the tallest lighthouse is 195 feet, or 195 stories. Correct me there. Mm-hmm. But I just love helping people tap into their potential. It makes me feel good. I love to see when they feel good. Just sharing my knowledge and wisdom. And this didn't come easy, but it came from, the last 20 years of hustling and grinding. So.
No, I could definitely relate to that. When it comes down to that, it's just the world, or the school of hard knocks. That's how I would attribute to that when it comes down to what you just shared with us just now. Now, let me see here. The other things that I've asked other folks was like, how did you, they ask me often, I get like, how did you design your look and feel of the show? And this is, I'm asking, I'm bringing that up because I put that even also in the rundown in the description, because that's the kind of questions that I get when folks reach out to me, say, hey, Marcello, do you mind if I have some time with you? You doing live streaming. These are the questions that I'm getting, or I'm getting via DM. Now, to ask about the feel of the show, the way I can answer that question is because, the best way to answer that question is when I started doing LinkedIn Live, and this is about 18 months ago when it first started, when it started becoming available, I was using the platform to, let's say, educate my customers and even some of the clients that I will hope to work with in the future. Unfortunately, the company I work for, they really didn't want to approve, or they haven't yet. They haven't approved of me to be, let's say, a company ambassador. So I'm like, okay, well, I still want to be able to use this platform to stay relevant with my customers, because essentially LinkedIn is my intellectual property. So that's the reason why I always I use this disclaimer in the beginning, just to put everything out there. Like, obviously, yeah, if you look at my history or you look at my profile, you'll know the company I work for. But I want to make sure that even if I have let's say this cocktail with Chello, and I have maybe one too many cocktails, which is not going to happen, but still, it's not going to have any adverse effects. So that's the reason why I put that out. Now, given that said, I'm like, well, I started seeing a lot of people saying, well, Marcello, how did you get LinkedIn Live? And I'm sorry to say, it really wasn't the hardest for me. I didn't have the same experiences that other people have shared, that it took them 3, 4, 5 times applying and still don't get access. I noticed that in my industry, there still isn't much representation in sustainability, recycling, and waste services on LinkedIn, or even on social media for that matter, from an individual's perspective, right? Organizations, yeah, all the big guys have advertising. They got some sort of slick advertising and well-packaged promos. We all know that, just like any major company like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and Coke, right? So I found that, well, there's a good opportunity for me to build my brand. However, to avoid any issues with my employer, then I started thinking, well, let me share my platform and having conversations with other folks and see if they like to use my platform and get their message across. So that's why I connected with individuals like Tony Alexander, Coach Erica, Christopher Rouse, individuals from the Happy Network Project. That's a great project. I've worked with them many times, and basically offering my platform for them to promote their initiative. So then, how to answer the question is that Cocktails with Chello started as a networking platform, and I was doing this even before COVID. So especially when COVID came around, people can't negotiate, can't talk to other people and talk about best practices and tips. So if you look back to some of the older shows or Cocktails with Chello, we're talking about like in episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way through like episode 20, we were having, all the screens were full with individuals. I mean, everybody was having a round robin conversation, and we never had a topic. I think only until like episode 21, 22, I start keep getting messages. Marcello, what's going to be the topic for Cocktails with Chello? And I started thinking, well, it's just networking. We're going to get together. We're going to, just have a casual conversation, just chop it up. And you're going to tell me about what you're doing. You're going to share your best practices. We're going to network and invite other people to have a good old, conversation. But I realized that people need to have a topic. I need a topic. What are we going to talk about? So then I know what I'm going to be interested in engaging. So that's why now I'll put out a topic just to get people interested in to join the conversation. But it really is, a topic's not necessary. Now the feel, the best way to put it, how I came up with the feel is to kind of feel the way that I'm interacting with you now with this camera, as you see me here, is how I would interact with a perfect stranger. If I knock on their door, I'm like, hello, hey, how you doing? Hey, my name is Marcello 𝗟cie. And this is how I am with a perfect stranger. And everyone that's watching me right now here on the live stream, I mean, if you haven't met me in person, I mean, we're connected on LinkedIn and other platforms, but we really haven't met each other. But this is how I am. So the feel, this is how it is. Didn't take time to plan it, to work it out, nothing. You just have to outright go ahead and just get started. It's the easiest way to do it. So I can't stress that enough. It's the easiest way to do it. I mean, just jump on it and go ahead. So that's why when people ask me like, well, Marcello, why, I'm just curious to know why, how should I get started on doing live streaming? Just do it. And now I guess I asked Tony, you've been on a few lives with me, and, you've been able to we've coordinated on different topics, and those topics were, obviously in line with your goals, your company's mission, and what you're passionate about. Even before you decided to jump on and doing some of these discussions or our lives, what was your approach? How did you decide on, like, what were you going to say, look and feel of, about the approach? Just curious to know your insight on that.
Well, definitely, again, when you reached out to be on the show, I was elated. So with that, I would make different little notes from episode to episode so that I made sure that I would be able to go back and recap those different things. And, I just keep a little binder for every live stream that I do. Now, believe it or not, when you approached me to do live streams, I really just started being on different outlets, probably only 2 months. And so it was very different for me because I'm like, wow, now someone wants me to do a live stream. Like, why me? And now, yeah, I'm like, why me? But I'm elated to say, and I have to give you your props, Chello, because when we did the first 3 episodes with myself, I ended up landing 6 different clients and 6 contracts that all panned out very well because there's so many in the episode where we were speaking about executive presence. So, and that's why definitely I'm always into sharing because I'm like, wow, just out of the blue, he offered me to the show. And then I ended up turning, those leads into clients that generated revenue and what I do. So, but yeah, the topics there, I love the different array of topics as well. And so when you send those out now, I do take some time and step back and say, okay, this is what I want to say. Cliff notes, I guess is what I call it, just cliff notes.
Yeah.
But mostly everything comes from the heart, though.
No, and I think that's the key thing is that when it pertains to how you are approaching this show, it is really not much that you could, like choreograph. So I just want to, before I continue, I want to reach out to a couple of folks that are watching us live. My dude, Kenny's like, you're not thirsty tonight? I'm thirsty. I'm actually thirsty. I'm pretty freaking thirsty. But cocktails at Chello. This is actually tonight. I'm drinking a little bit of 𝗏. You guys might know it, but I'm drinking some of that right now. I didn't pour an actual cocktail today, but yeah, that's what I like drinking 𝗏. I buy them by the caseful, and I buy them by the case. I buy them at Costco, so I want to make it clear. Yeah, cocktails at Chello is, he's not rolling the dough like that, but I'm able to get a pretty decent price, so I could buy him in bulk. So that's what I'm drinking, my dude Kenny. And then I see Hakeem is in the house right now. He says, yeah, he wants a cocktail as well, and is curious to know if we're live, and we are. The link, if you want to join us, you could actually join us. You could join me on the live stream. However, curious to know. Oh yeah, Hakeem, do you have access to Clubhouse? That might be Yolanda. Yeah, cocktail. Tick, tick, tick. Yeah, you could definitely jump on it. But no, I'll give you the link to that. Let me see. Let me bring that up. The only and this is the link if you want to jump on. There you go. This is the. There you go. Here. Alrighty. I see we got Hunter is in the house. What's going on, Hunter? What's cracking, lacking? How you doing today? Let me know if you want to join us. I know Hunter and my dude, Hunter and Tony, they're good friends as well. So I know they have a lot in common as well. So I'm actually putting right now the link to if you want to. That's the link to the Clubhouse room. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna bring up the link if you want to join in the live stream, which is you'll be on Facebook. You'll be also. Hakeem says, yeah, no Clubhouse because I'm on Android. No worries, man. You're soon enough. You'll be there. So I'll give you the link and you can actually join us on the panel here on live stream. So give me 1 second. I'm going to actually place it right now. All right. So the most recent, oh, that's a whole bunch of the fingers here. Give me 1 second. There you go. Copy that right there. All right, so that's the link now if you want to jump on the live stream. Just bear in mind that the people may not be able to hear you on Clubhouse, but you know that's fair enough. People will be able to hear you on and I know I'm gonna have to figure out this echo thing, but that's driving me insane. So yeah, so they says don't judge me, don't worry about it. Clubhouse, hey, it's not for everybody just yet. You know, I'm using it because I want to utilize that platform to build some awareness, build a following, and then eventually they're suggesting that that's going to be a platform that people could start monetizing, and you can say that like right now LinkedIn doesn't offer a direct option for monetization. So if you can start doing that in a Clubhouse and you're already building some traction, it might be it makes perfect sense. So definitely want to go down that road. So now, all right, so now let me see what else I wanted to cover. I'm gonna bring up here what else I had listed in the run now. Okay, so we already talked about how do you get your design look and feel. We discussed that. Now I guess what type of equipment do you need to get started? That's something that I get quite often asked. I'm going to tell you the classic thing. A cell phone is sufficient. That's all you really need. You don't really need to get any major setup, that kind of thing. I'm going to bring Akeem on the crew right there. So yeah, you don't really have to have something major set up. And Akeem, you may want to move either to the left or to the right. I'm not sure because you're off center. Just want to give you a heads up on that. Yeah, you don't have to have anything major. Mind you, unfortunately for my family members, I'm a bit of a gadget fool. So I'm sorry to tell you, I have boatloads of gadgets. And then lucky for me, I have great relationships with a lot of organizations, companies. I'm talking about, Sony, companies like that, that I have some good relations. So I don't really come out of pocket that much, or even sometimes they even sponsor me, or let's say they'll seed the products. So that's so like I'm using right now a professional Sony camera in front of me. So that when people say, hey, so why is your video so clear? Well, I'm using a professional camera from Sony. The light is a basic light. I have to get a little bit more lighting, but it's a basic light. The microphone is a relatively brand new microphone. It's from the microphone is called Shure. And this is SB70A. Everybody, have you ever seen any live streaming or any what they call them, podcasts for that matter? They love using these. This is like the de facto. The arm is not low end. It's pretty expensive. This is a company called Gator. It's a Gator arm, and then you could adjust it. You could choose the different colors if you wanted to change it up. If you wanted black, white, purple, red, whatever, you can mix it up and you can adjust it at any particular place. Um, I have a 49-inch monitor in front of me right here. One of these wraparound monitors. You know, if I probably what I'll do is I'll probably even take a photograph and I'll put it up on the screen and I'll share it later. But yeah, so I have everything here. So I'm pretty covered out when it comes down to that, mind you. But you could just have a regular, you know, even on your iPad, you could do live streaming. You know what I mean? It's no biggie. You know what I mean? And then lastly, connection I use. I looked at. I have AT&T fiber in my community, so I have gigabit. I have 1 gig up and 1 gig down, so the connection is super fast. So I don't have any issues with connection loss or slowdowns or anything for that matter. So I'm good. And then I use the connection directly into my router, and you know, and I use a mesh network. So if anybody knows technology or knows about Wi-Fi, it's a mesh kind of Wi-Fi setup. And if you want to learn more about that, I tell you, I bore you to death, as I'm boring Akeem and Tony right now. So, Tony, curious to know, like, what's your setup? I know you used other types of headphones before as well, but I know you have that, and just curious to know, what do you use for your setup when you go live?
Just like you said, most of the times I'll use my phone, but I also, in terms of the computer that I use a Mac Pro Plus. In terms of the camera, I use Logitech. Let's see, and here is one of my microphones that I use here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a Samsung. I love this one. So it's my to-go when I'm on the go. In addition to that, again, just some of the simple setups, and I just kind of look. I don't have a big background, but I just kind of, I'm always cognizant of how my background looks, so it shows off that professional appearance.
Mm-hmm.
But just like you say, it doesn't. You don't have to go out and spend an arm and a leg, because you can do it. From right here. This thing right here called your phone.
Yeah.
But that's it for the most part. Nothing spectacular. Every now and then I might use a ring light depending on where I am, but more often than not of me using it. So it doesn't have to break the bank. I'll put it like that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, mind you, like I said before, I've been doing this for about 18 months. So I started growing a little bit. So then I started justifying the need to, invest or actually start using this different kind of option and enhancements, if you want to call it. So now, Akeem, I know that you and I have been connected for some time now, and you joined us on our linked lunch show yesterday that I do with 𝗟elle 𝗵𝗆. Just curious to know, like, on your end, like what are you doing on your end? How are you getting connected? And if so, are you posting any videos and things of that sort? How are you getting online?
Wow. It's kind of hard to follow after everything you just said, because I absolutely know that I use nothing. I don't connect anything to my air. I just talk directly to my clients via my laptop that cost me $2.99 at Best Buy in New York while I was on vacation 2 years ago. So I use no ring lights. Everything you see is natural. I tend to look into that authentic approach with my clients, because I'm a master resume writer, so I deal with people all over the world basically. So I think what draws people into me is that authenticity, that no bells or whistles, no ring lights, none of that. What you see is the blemishes, I need to go to the barber, all of that. So you see everything. Is there a delay?
I lowered it. Did folks hear any echo? Did anyone hear any echo on your end?
You took off something and the echo came off.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's why I lowered the input on my end because I knew I gotta have to figure that one out because it's kind of kooky. I've noticed that the input that I'm having sometimes
But I'm really missing your music, Marcello.
what was that?
I'm really missing your music.
Oh, the music. The music is only a couple of steps away. I have what is this? A Samsung Note, and I have it connected via Bluetooth to this a soundboard over here, and I just click it. Yes, everyone. We can do a part. I mean, literally, just wireless and just connected to one of those panels. So this is called a Rode. What do they call them again? Broadcaster, and it has have these little pads that I could pre-program. You name it. I could pre-program anything if I wanted. I mean, mind you, those are ones that come standard, but I could change it with anything. Or eventually, if I want, I can actually literally create that intro that I say, "Hey, how you guys doing?" I can record it and just put it in one button like this and click the button. And I could actually right there be like, all right, guys, so welcome to Cocktails with Chello. And I could actually lower it and just have the intro set up that way. But
what app did you use to do that?
This is actually called a Rode caster. I'll show you. Give me 1 second.
Here I'm looking for an Android.
All right, so this is. All right, don't judge me. So here we go. So I might have another one. All right, so this is actually the same mic right there. A second one. You could just look it up. It's a pretty good mic. It says 𝗚𝗵𝗲𝗰. So it's from Shure.
It's expensive.
Not cheap, but you can look it up. You hook this up. It's called a cloud lifter. You connect this to the mic, and this is another one of those. So this is the pad. Oh, there it is.
It's upside down.
So you connect that to your computer, and have multiple inputs right there, and you can connect your phone. Obviously, when I do Clubhouse, I'm able to connect the audio that's coming from Clubhouse into it, and it has a little cord. So what I use with Clubhouse, I use the old-fashioned cord like this, connected to the back of the Rodecaster, and the audio. So audio when Tony was talking earlier was going through here into the Rodecaster back to the stream. So that's how people are seeing that right now. So yeah, so I have it right here on my desk, and I could set up different settings. So I have 4 channels that I could hook up multiple mics, and then this is connected back to my Mac. But yeah, I see if I have it. Let me see here. Who's that guy here? Hold on a second. All right. We're going a little bit mobile here. So there you go. So this is the guy right there. It's on my desk right there. That's the phone with the pad. And let me see if I have. There you go. So that's a Mac Pro, and I have used that one for different kind of stuff there. But yeah, but when it comes down to technology, I'm just a bit of a. I just love tech, so I use it like nobody's business. Let me put my headphones on so I can actually hear you guys. So give me 1 second. All right, give me 1 second. And these guys, look these guys up. This is and that's my earwax. So these are Shure 846. So that's SM846. Shure 846.
And there's
yeah, you can see on the side right there, these Shure headphones.
Okay.
You look them up. and you'll see how much they go for.
I'm sure Shure is bigger than something.
What was that? Now I can hear you. Now go ahead. What you said?
Shure is the Shure.
Yeah, these are Shure headphones, and these are the and also I wouldn't even say headphones at this point. These are, they call them monitors at this level. These are the ones that you could actually have custom molding made for, and you could just put them back there. But mind you, I choose not to do it at this point. But it's really, really comfortable. It's it goes right in your ear. But yeah, the SM.
But is it one of those things where you hear outside things and you only hear what's in your ear?
Yeah,
If your house is on fire, you won't hear it.
No, I wouldn't hear. Yeah, it's pretty quiet. I don't hear any dialogue, or it's just right in here, and that's is perfect when it comes down to audio. And I always recommend, if you're gonna do anything online or in streaming, be sure to go corded. Even though the wireless is great, I see Tony has his. There's always feedback if you go wireless. I highly recommend. Yeah, so always go corded. That's the best route to go. Anything you do, go corded.
Some things don't have any port for headset with a port.
Well, what do you have? You have an iPhone, or you said you have Android, right?
Yeah, I have an S20.
Okay. Well, Shure, I keep going pedaling Shure. Yeah, I see your pretty face. So, Shure, they make adapters that you could plug into directly into your device to get the highest bit audio. If you could do that, they make that for the iPhone. So literally, when you plug it on the bottom, it's like a direct connect to a microphone, and the audio is outstanding. I definitely recommend that. Yeah. Now, when it pertains to video, I'm sorry, I have iPhone, I got Android, but my recommendation when it comes down to video, hands down, iPhone has video quality on lock. Video, anywhere you look at, they have the best video. Photos,
it's just expensive though.
Yeah, I would agree. That they're not the cheapest. I would agree with that. Yeah, I mean, but when it comes down to it, the quality is there on video, and everything else. There's always different things, and you could decide justifications on how you're gonna invest, or if other people might say spend your money. So that's it depends on how you want to approach it. Now I have something new. I'm thinking about using. This is another Mac Mini. This is but this is the M1. As you see, I have it. I'm taking out the package. This is the M1 Mac Mini. If you guys know about technology, this is supposed to be Mac's chip. It's not running an AMD. It's not running Intel. It's their own chip. And if you look this up, just Google M1 Mac Mini. Folks say that this computer, I mean, the base goes for like $700, right? Folks say that this computer runs as good as a $2,500 computer or $3,000 computer. It's crazy. So yeah, so that's what I use. I have Mac Minis that I'm running. I use those, and I use that. I have one that I'm looking right now that I'm looking at YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn on one side, and then because the computer I have is split, or the monitor I have is split. On the other side, I have the second computer, and that's where I have the stream. So I don't have any issues when it comes down to like crashing or not. I'm telling you, I've had issues. That's why I split it. I'm running two separate computers. So now, let me see here. Now, let's go here. So I got Carmen saying that it's music night at Marcello. Thank you. I appreciate that. I see my dude, Mr. Wong. Can I make beats like beat bots like that? No, I'm not sure if he could. He said he got to get one of those. I guess I remember. I think he was talking about earlier on the either the Rodecaster or the microphone from Shure. Yeah, and this, like mind you, this is a kick butt. Oh, you got it. Yeah, I think you're coming from here. Yeah, and they, like you say, if you look at anyone, all right, I'll show you here. There you go. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so this is actually arguably like the best mic you could use is the Rode SMB SM7B. Everyone, like whenever you see this or anyone you see them on the thing. The other one is that you can consider is the Blue Yeti. Like those are good, and I think it's down there somewhere. I used to have it on the regular. I used to have it use it, but I was having issues with that. So
it's definitely just on a limited budget.
Yeah, on a limited budget, you could literally use like the iPhone corded, or even get a good. Let me think about a headphone. What's a good headphone right now? Oh, I'll show you right now. Hold on a second. You'll love this. All right, so these guys make a great headphone. These Bose. Oh, okay. So it comes in white. It comes in black, and it comes in other colors too, also. But these Bluetooth headphones, these are the noise canceling 700. These guys, people have used these, and these are as good as the Apple headphones. Like you think about like the one of those little what do they call them again? I'm trying to remember the AirPods, right? Those everybody loved those. Those are pretty freaking cool. So those work out well. Either the over the ear or even the in ear ones. Those are pretty good. But yeah, if you use the Bose, you could use that and connect it via Bluetooth. I've seen and personally I've used that, and the audio quality is pristine. So I definitely recommend something like that. Yeah, but each one of those go for about $399. And I just showed you two. But again, I have a relationship with Bose. So, that's those are 3 boxes, and each one is $400. So that's $1,200 you just saw right there. So, but about you, the way they work. The way it works is relationships mainly. That's what it comes down to. And I'll be more than happy to share the tricks of the trade and how that works. So, and how you could even find a way to partner. Meaning that in the past I've had sponsors on shows, and I'm looking at a few other sponsors, and the way it works sometimes they won't pay me, but they'll give me the gadgets. And the way it works is that they'll give it to me, and I'll use it in my personal life. I'll talk about it on live streams. And the way it works, and this is how this works, how marketing works, right? And you're starting to see a lot of shift on this, even on Instagram. You see this a lot of Instagram and Facebook. They'll do this is called organic advertising. They'll seed it, and they'll give it to regular Joe Blows like me, right? And they feel that the reach from individuals like me could be more effective, because I can speak from a candid perspective, rather than if you see, a celebrity touting something, there's a good chance that you're thinking, he got paid for that, right? So, but, so examples I could tell you about partnerships I'll show you right now. Look at this. The Roomba. I got it in my closet. I have one downstairs. I have one up here, and this is the one that cleans itself. So And if you look it up, they go for, I don't know, $1,500. I don't know what it is. But yeah, I've given them to my family. But yeah, Roomba is a great let's say sponsor, because what they'll do is that they'll give them to me. I'll use them in my home. I talk about them, and this is how it works, right? So they'll share it, or they'll give me, or they call them seed it. They'll seed it, and then what happens is they'll see it in my home, and they're like, and the other people start seeing it, and then what they do is that they know the not demographic. They'll know their, let's say their reach or their saturation. That's a good word to use. So let's say, for instance, their saturation rate is maybe 10%. And after seeding the product for several individuals in a specific geographic area, if they see their saturation increase, then that's some money well spent. If you want to say money well spent, because it doesn't cost much when you scale it, how much it costs. Like, even though they charge me $1,500, I think, something like that, at scale, that unit probably costs $300, the whole set. You know, so I have the vacuum, I got the mop. So after the vacuums, the mop goes out and mops the floors. I mean, it's bananas. But that's just one example. So yeah, so Travis saying legit. Yeah, I would think Travis, he's been doing. Hey, Travis, thank you very much for coming through. I'm sure you know about a lot of different things about sponsorship, but you just have to, be yourself and just be relaxed. And if you have already, you know what kind of message you have, that you should be fine. Now, let me see here. Now, do you get your hats from relationships? No, I actually buy these guys from Nike. Yeah, I don't have any relationships I could think of, So, anything else. I do have, and that's pretty heavy, but this one called 𝗬𝗓. If you guys could Google it, it's 𝗬𝗓. It's called and basically it's like a personal assistant. It's a robot, and you could pair it with your device, and instead of carrying all your bags, you could literally just put whatever you want in it. You hit a button, and it'll literally just follow you around wherever you go. So it's like a personal robot. So they seeded that with me, and I've been using it. And essentially, it's like a beta tester. That's where you could put it, because I usually essentially use the product in the field, have people see it. Mind you, it's heavy as a mofo. It's 50 pounds. So you have to have a little, some energy to be able to pick it up. But if, let's say, for instance, in my case, right, when I go to an office park, it's perfect for me, because I can literally put all my stuff in it, and whenever I get to a location, I could just park it, go inside. Hey, how you guys doing? My name is Marcello 𝗟𝗧𝗍 with Republic Services. How are you? Oh, don't mind my robot. I'm here to talk to you about your trash service. So it's like an icebreaker too, and it doesn't hurt. So yeah, but it's called 𝗬𝗓. So it's pretty heavy. So I want to pick that up. So now go right ahead. Let me see here. I got she already talked about the hats, and and Mr. Wong found that quite funny. So now, curious to know, would you guys have any have you guys ever worked with either any sponsors or any partnerships that you guys had any experience that you could share? No, Tony, what you got?
Have one of my largest sponsors is actually 𝗟ście. And 𝗟ście is a phone service, basically what it is, that automatically sets up. You get a digital assistant. You of course, you can have up to 6 different lines. So probably what I have the business professional line, which runs about $100 a month. But because I talk about it, I don't get charged for it, of course. But the same concept with those relationships. And just, right now, 𝗟ście is the only one, but I'm hoping to get some more.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially if I can be like you, Chello.
Mind you, like I said, I'm in my mid-40s, and since I was 18. Yeah. Well, you know, they say don't crack, even though I'm not black, but I'm colored, and I'm married to a sister. So you know, from
I'm very open to collaborations and stuff. I have none. I'm not affiliated with anybody but myself and my mother. So that is about it. My mommy bought my laptop, but that's about it. I'm not affiliated with any of any endorsements right now, or not affiliated with any businesses. So I'm open. Anyone wants to market through me, cool. My current LinkedIn network is almost 25,000. So I guess I'm at that point where I can, you know, share things where a wide, vast, you know, huge number of people can see it. So I'm open and ready.
So you didn't hear your echo on that point, I gather, right? Again, what happens is this is what I shared with you before, and I'm gonna have to do some dialing or look into that. For whatever reason, the audio that like either is the way it goes, I have to change the setup because like it comes through and somehow or another either you speak it and then somehow or another then when it comes back, when my audio comes in, it picks up your audio, and then as you talk, it's like bam, 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 bam. So it's like the way I'm piping it through because I have to hear you, but then somehow or another the way it's coming through is actually going back into the receiver and then it's going out. That's the reason why there's a bit of an echo on that point. Yeah, I want to shout out to a couple of folks here. I see that Donald C. Kelly, he liked the dialogue. He's a great guy. If you guys are not connected with him, definitely recommend you to connect with Donald C. Kelly. You can see his name. He connected. He actually gave a thumbs up for our dialogue. And also another person, which is a great advocate. And actually, he's right up your alley, Akeem, when it pertains to your industry. His name is Andrew Fairman. Do you know this person? Akeem, Andrew Fairman. Definitely recommend you to connect with him. When you look at the live stream or when you watch it or watch the replay, look at the individuals that liked it. His name is Andrew Fairman. He called himself the Headhunter. So same thing with you, Tony. You know, given that you guys interested industry, you guys definitely should collaborate. Also, you too, Akeem and Tony. You guys definitely, I can see there's some synergy there when it pertains to collaborating on future projects. Or if you're not connected, definitely connect and come up with maybe even something, either a topic or an initiative that you guys like to tackle. And we could do this on a live stream, you know, and then you guys can invite. And essentially, this is what I was thinking about before. Let me think about this. What was the thing? Trying to remember. I was thinking about it because I always like helping others find their ideal job. And I'm trying to remember. Let's say, for instance, what I was thinking about initially, right? Let's say you, Akeem, right? You either invite, and also Tony, you invite either individuals that you help with their resume, or in Tony's case, mentoring or whatever it is might be, right? And you could do an initial look through their resume and you ask them, hey, would you be willing for me to work on your resume live on LinkedIn? Now, how that works is twofold, right? People see what you're doing, see your expertise, and ultimately they can say, I want Akeem to work on my resume. But now second, the person that's getting their resume looked at, potentially an employer.
May not feel very comfortable.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It depends. You know, it depends. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to ask. So that's what I'm saying. Like, so like what you just said, you don't think they'd be comfortable? Well, that means you need to get the right comfortable customer. Let me give you an example. In my case, right? Not every customer is ideal to work with me for two reasons. It could be either because my company is the second largest waste company in the nation. Just by me saying that, you have an idea that they're not going to be the cheapest. Because there's a lot of things that play into that. So that's one factor. And then sometimes just culturally, it may not work out, whatever it is. Or they might have had a bad experience with waste companies, so they just may want to work with a local mom and pop. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. So sometimes you have to know how to qualify your customer or individual you want to work with. So now, given that said, I want to ask, and I guess folks that are watching the live stream, I want to get you guys feedback as well. How do you know you got the right person in front of you, the right client, the person you will work with? You know, let me know. How do you qualify? Is it by attitude? Is it by aptitude? Or is it just by will? Meaning if you notice that they don't have the will, you don't want to mess with them. Aptitude, basically they're stupid. You know what I mean? That's how, or the intellect level is not there. So you don't want to, you don't want to teach them. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? What's this called? Scooby-Doo. Think about Scooby-Doo. Remember the Shaggy? He wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. So, you may not want to work with a Shaggy, you know what I'm saying? But, it could be anything. So I'm just curious, like, Tony, when it comes down to, and you can continue talking in Clubhouse, when it comes down to you, when people come to you and they will say, hey, Tony, I need your help with X, and you tell me what X is, how do you qualify if this is the person you want to work with, or better, not even work with? It could be something you want to, because you say you do it out of the kindness of your own heart and you volunteer. What are the things that you look for, or what are the questions you ask to determine based on what they want to do? It's like, okay, like, let me give an example before you go into that, Tony. You saw what Akeem said when I said ask individuals to do a live stream. His first response was, they may not want to do it. So that means that the people that he's worked with in the past, either they're shy, they may not be tech savvy, or they may just be, they're just embarrassed. It could be in numerous things. It could be a fourth option, but he knows his customer. So now in this case, what are the things that you look for, and essentially maybe even what are the questions you ask to determine if you want to work with them based on the answers, Tony?
So I can say that's like a accumulation of all three that you said. It just kind of depends on the individual and what service that they're looking for. So, for example, with mentoring, if someone comes and say, "Hey, I want you to mentor me," right? That's not how our mentoring starts, right? So what I'll do is I'll put a little bait out there, and I'm kind of like, okay, well, I need you to read this, this, and this, right? And I need it to be done by X, Y, and Z. Because now I'm looking at how dedicated are you to doing it. And the other thing is I don't check in on them, because once I've given it to them, I don't follow up. So now if they follow up with me, hey, I have this finished, this is what I took away from this book or this article, X, Y, and Z, then for me, that's somebody that I want to work with, because I can't work harder on your dream than you do. So that's the key to my mentees. As far as in other parts of the business, honestly, if a business comes to me, I look at the culture and the subculture in that particular organization to kind of know what I'm dealing with, and if it's a firm that I want to work with, or if it's an individual that I want to work with. I look at how Gallup their engagement surveys. I look at their corporate social responsibility projects. I look at their diversity and inclusion. So I do all of this, especially when I get higher level executives that wants me to work with them. For the individual, one of the things that I'll give them or ask, I do 15-minute discovery calls, but I also ask them, what is the why? And if they can't tell me their why, then more than likely I'm not going to work with them. And I'll say, hey, I don't think you're ready, or I don't think this would be a good partnership for us to work on, because definitely their why of why they want to do it might clash with the values of which I have. So I don't necessarily want to align myself with them. And I'm very upfront and honest about them. And so apparently it's working, because I still get referrals. So, but that's the good thing about being an entrepreneur that is so different from corporate America. I truly get to choose my customer. and that's a wonderful feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the key thing. That's the key thing. And now I'll ask Akeem. So, and I'm gonna see here now if I have any comments here. I'll same thing now for you. What are the things that you either characteristics? I won't say behaviors, but maybe traits, or even probably when you sit down, when they say, "Hey, I'm curious. What are the things? I mean, I heard that you helped Jackie." Or Peter, you helped them with their resume, and gosh, they were looking for work for about 5 months, and after they got the resume done with you, the next interview they got the job. Mind you, I know Tony right now, he's chomping on the bits because he knows that it's not just a resume. You need to be able to make you have to perform. So that's why it goes back to what I was talking about earlier. You want to avoid a shaggy because what happens is I give the exact no. So it could be. Oh, I'm talking about Shaggy from Scooby Doo.
I know.
Oh, okay. I say that because I know. No. I'm thinking about it wasn't me. It wasn't me. So I want you to think that I was talking about Shaggy from the. No. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. You don't want to get a knucklehead that you give him a nice resume and they show up. I'm like, so how much the job?
I'll say this.
Yeah,
right.
Go ahead.
I probably would be as eloquent as Tony was, but you must feel a sense of hunger in your client. Mm-hmm. When someone approaches me and say, "Hey, Akeem, I've been unemployed for the past 8 months. I don't know what to do again. My resume is a mess. It's 10 pages. I can barely afford you, but I'm going to try." And because, quite frankly, my rates are the lowest in the Caribbean. It is what it is. But that's just my decision to not go as high as other companies. However, the results, my 75 reviews on my LinkedIn speaks for itself. I don't need to advertise really anymore. I don't even do videos or put out too much content anymore because my reviews speak for itself and my client experiences speak for itself. But as Tony alluded to in a very eloquent way, was that you need to feel a sense of hunger. So for him, he sends the person to do some reading. I would actually have a Zoom session with every single client now. And during that, the first 15, well, probably first 5 minutes of this call, I can see if this is going to work or not. And I would be the quickest person to give you a refund if I believe that.
Someone right now is asking right now. She just jumped on right now. Roz Lowe. She wants to know, what does he do? So can you just reintroduce yourself, please?
Sure. My name is 𝗂𝗵𝗲𝗰. I'm an international master resume writer. I'm an HR professional with 15 years experience. I currently reside in the Caribbean, in the island of Trinidad. Hope that works. All right.
I appreciate that.
So yes,
yeah,
the fun
definitely understand when you're coming from when it comes down to doing the Zoom calls. And mind you, obviously it works for you. I mean, that's the key thing.
It's kind of time consuming,
and that's the key thing that I'm thinking about how much time it would take to allocate to do the Zoom calls, or because I'm thinking about conversion ratio, like how much time you apply and if it's gonna work out. So, what obviously it sounds like to me, obviously this maybe some little bit of pre-qualifying initially, and then you're doing a good job on converting and doing a Zoom call to make sure that they commit to hiring for your services, obviously, because otherwise you won't be jumping on that many Zoom calls afterwards. Now, this is what I wanted to say. This is why, and I think Tony said in the private chat, he said, good topic. Consider this. This is the reason why I brought that up, and this is why I use live, right? I come across individuals on a regular basis, and they'll ask me, "Hey, so Marcello, what do you do?" Or they'll come up with a scenario like, "Hey, Marcello, I want to do business with you. However, my last company or my current company is charging me these fees because my container is overloaded. Is your company going to charge me that?" And yeah, we had that fee. And I explained to them that, this, it's more of an opportunity for us to have a discussion. However, at that point, I'll share with them a link to a video where I talked about the oversized container, the overloaded container, and the challenges that you might face, and also suggestions on how to address it, right? And basically it's a video, and there's a link to that video. So now, as I set that up, the same thing applies to you, Akeem, and I'm sure that Tony has utilized this in the past, given how many times he's been on 𝗏𝗂𝗏𝗁. Think about a topic that you're getting quite often, or topics, depending on the time that it takes to isolate, right? And essentially create yourself, and we can have this on the live, a video business card, so to speak, lack of a better word, you know what I mean? Or resume, you know what I mean? In addition to your recommendations on LinkedIn. But then you could have them, you can say, hey, instead of jumping on all these Zoom calls, you can say, hey, thank you very much. I'm glad that Patricia recommended you to me. I love for us to sit down and schedule some time to talk. But in the meantime, I want to make sure that the time that we spend is as impactful for you than it is for me, meaning that I value my time and I respect yours so much. So I want to make sure that this is in line with what you need. Obviously, I could do resume services, but I'm very detailed and very passionate about that. So I want to share you a link to a conversation that I had with Marcello on a cocktail with Chello. And it highlights the 5 things that I like to discuss with someone that is interested in hiring my services. So take a look at that video, right? After you watch it, have those items prepared so then when we sit down, you don't have to go back and look for it, or we have to reschedule another Zoom call, something like that. Now, at that point, you could literally send that same video as a follow-up to individuals that ghosted you. Like, oh yeah, I want to hire you. But you could, obviously you're not going to say, hey, when are you going to hire my services? No, you're not going to say that. You're going to say, hey, I just thought about you. I hope you're doing well, but I wanted to keep you updated on what I've been doing. I just had a conversation with Marcello, and here's a link to the chats highlighting the challenges a lot of individuals face when they are updating their resume. Take a look at this and let me know if this might help you in your job search. Mind you, they know and you know that they want to hire you. However, they haven't committed to it, and this is a software to follow up. This is how I use video. And mind you, does it work every single time? No. However, when it does, you're like, golly, that's great, because what happens is that they know that you have an outstanding contract on the table. And sometimes they'll say, you know what? Hey, Akeem, thank you very much for that video. That really nailed it. Right? I appreciate that. When can we talk to set up my update my resume? Whatever. You'd be surprised how often that works. Or this is another thing. This is another thing which is pretty freaking good. All right. How often you say they'll say, hey, yeah, let everyone know that I do resume service. Right. And if you give them my information, I'll give you 10% off. What about if you give them a link to your video presentation? And if that person actually books under Patricia, you give them 10% off. The reason why I said it is because Patricia doesn't have to say, yeah, this guy, he's great. Why is he great? He's great. Why is he great? Well, I got a job. Well, why is he so great? Call him. He's good. That's my version of a lady talking smack. But you get what I'm saying? But the reason why I'm bringing that up is that your message is going to be consistent, concise, and it's going to be ready all the single time, meaning that, that's why I say someone approaches you and say, hey, Akeem, I heard that you do resume services. And you can say, hey, I appreciate the opportunity, but I'm about to do something right now. Can you take a look at this video? Let's follow up. Can we schedule some time? But watch it. Take a look at the key things that we're going to discuss and how it can help you. And then let's schedule a time. How's that sound? And that goes back to what Tony said. You give them the video. If they follow back up, then that person is a higher chance to convert on after a Zoom call because they've seen the video. They know what's involved, rather than you have to go in there blindly, So
Now, you mute me again.
Yeah, I'll lower it. Go ahead.
Right. Now, your ideas and your statements are perfect for your cultural context, for our first world context. In the Caribbean, if I tell someone go and look at a video, I would never hear from them again. Caribbean people want to feel. Caribbean people are very emotive. We're very touchy-feely, emotional type of people. So immediately as a client goes to my website, looks at my services, and I have an app on my phone where I can see exactly who's on my website 24 hours a day. And most times I can see their locations. If they sign, I can see their name, that kind of thing. And I would contact you directly. And at that point, that is when you capture people, when you develop that closer connection. So if I call you, hey, how are you doing? You're looking at this service? Okay, send me your resume. Let me see what it looks like. And then immediately, people tend to book. Probably because I have the monopoly on the resume marketing. I'm the only master resume writer in my country. So if I didn't do it, it wasn't done properly. I'm not boasting.
I gotta ask you now. Okay, I haven't had a resume done in a while, and
Right.
people that might be watching this too.
Mhm.
Why should somebody hire a master resume writer versus
A regular resume.
a regular? What are the features and benefits of what you provide?
Definitely the experience. I mean, I've been doing this 14 years. So definitely the experience. There's very little that you can put on a resume that I haven't seen. And of course, I'm able to target different markets. So because of my experience in the Caribbean, in North America, Canada, I know what type of resumes work in those environments. So it's more of a kind of innate skill that I developed over the years and my training, but it's just not something that I can look at a resume and say, okay, this is not going to work in New York, but it's going to work in Canada, or it will work somewhere else. So style helps and all of that. So I know a lot of business people don't need resumes. A lot of people who don't need resumes, but there are still companies who say, here, we want to see what you look like on paper. So it just is what it is.
Yeah, I understand when you. Oh, look, Matthew says, "Am I still streaming?" Yeah, I don't know what is. Why is he asking me that question? Yes. Now the question is, this is what I was gonna ask. The reason why I bring that up is that I try to find. Oh, and if you can mute your line, Akeem. I just see hear the feedback on my end. Thank you. Like I said, I'm in my mid-40s, so I've knocked on a lot of doors, and after a while, knocking on doors, basically cold calling, which we all gonna do it, or referral, we all gonna do it. I try to find a way to scale, to essentially clone myself per se. And in your case, Akeem, you have your website, which is great, you know what I mean, and that's working. I always trying to find different ways how you can scale it. And I get your point. You know your client. I mean, you understand that these individuals don't do well with video. Let me see. Tell him. He said, now this is interesting. He said, in Trinidad. Yeah. So this is the thing right now. When it comes down to this now, I think sometimes, and I'm sure it's true what you're saying, ask your clients, how do you like to be communicated? And I bring that up because for this reason, right? Very often my colleagues will say, I don't like to do LinkedIn. Okay. I don't like to do Facebook or Twitter or anything like that. Tony will tell you, I don't like Facebook either. I think I'm surprised I even responded to him on Facebook because I don't do Facebook. I do Facebook because it's a tool. I use that as a tool, and I do my proverbial happy birthday, Merry Christmas, anniversary post, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? With families and loved ones, you do that. But for the most part, I don't really engage. The one that I engage the most is LinkedIn. Now, the reason why I bring that up is that you have to be where your clients are, or talk to them in their language. So interacting with them makes or understanding what they want or how they want to be communicated that could be something that you could ask. That might be a good direction to go. So I wanted before I go any further, I want to let folks know right now we're doing an Ask Me Anything, and now it turned into Talk About Anything. So that's how it turned into, because you talk about resume writing. So I want to give a shout out to Linda Gray. Thank you, Linda. Thank you very much for coming through. I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been? Thank you very much for coming through. I see my lady Marissa. Hey, what's going on, Marissa? This woman is a powerhouse. If you need help promoting, doing remote producing, she's your gal. And I see my lady. What's going on, Miss McDonald? Thank you very much for coming through. I appreciate that. Linda Gray says that she needs to have a resume updated. Yeah, I see those eyebrows went up there. So you definitely want to reach out to Miss Gray. You can see that right now. Now let's see here. Ask, do you invest in crypto? That's interesting. That's a good question. I know that's always been something people have been talking about. Now, what's that? Fudge? What's the FTD? Something like that? I forgot what it's called. Marissa, tell me what's that acronym? That 4-letter FTD or NFD, or I forgot what it was. Something. She'll bring it up. Yeah, but I'm curious. And anyone that's doing crypto should update resume at least twice a year. So let me bring Tony and continue. Tony, keep talking in Clubhouse so I don't have it. I can hear you in my ear. And Kirsten, and you can share what you just shared in the private notes. Go ahead, Tony. Share what you just told me about the resume.
Okay, in my belief and practice, or what I always tell clients in general, that you definitely should update your resume at least twice a year. And the reason for that is, depending on how long you're in the job market, you want to be able to add any new and additional skills that you get. And not only that, but in today's market, and I see it all the time, they've decided they want to jump ship from one job and they want to go to the next, and then all of cognizant of that. And so with the resume, you actually end up kind of lost my train of thought there reading that. But with your resume, you just want your resume to be ready. And I was kind of telling Chello, the last resume that I actually had written for me, because I do resumes, but I don't want to do my own, and that's the silliest thing, because I can be a little too modest, I guess. But you're gonna pay good money for a good resume writer. I spent about $350 for the last resume that I had done, and I can tell you it landed me all kind of jobs at the executive level. And what I did was I didn't turn those into jobs, I turned those into contracts for me as an entrepreneur. So I figured, hey, they call me in, they want me, but now let me change this thing. And what I do in addition to that is, even though as an entrepreneur, I still apply for jobs, and I go to seeing how the process works. And in addition to that, if, hey, they want to offer me the job, well, look, I can do this for you. I can turn this into a business opportunity for yourself. But I guess the thing is, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And that's why you should be updating that resume at least twice a year. And my education piece, that's a really good tip. So if you are still pursuing your education on your resume, There we go.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. I see that. Now, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. No.
Yes,
Yeah.
can hear you.
Okay, good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, I had a couple of folks here that were sharing there. Let me bring up the comments. One person said Marissa was talking about that she has not updated her resume in 4 years. Mind you, it seems kind of hard to think that it's taking that long, but at the same time, you think about in her role, it may not require for her to update her resume if she's happy with what she's doing. So that might have something to do with that as well. But I get your point, you know. Let me see here. They're saying, let me take a look. They're saying that I believe my stream got dropped off of LinkedIn. I tell you, LinkedIn it's a mess sometimes. Oh, okay. It looks like that I'm back. All right. It was kind of weird. Let me see who else are here. She says that we couldn't hear you. Okay. I think that it might have been when I lowered the volume on because it was a bit of a backup. Now, Marissa, tell me what NFT, what that stands for again. I'm trying to, it's like fudgeable or something. I forgot what the term is. Marissa's Callie just said that she's gone solo for the past 6 years. So now I'll tell you this much. Let me tell you what my wife has done. And she works for a large corporation, and she's a business analyst for them. So this is how it works for her. There's benefits for her to keep track of what she does throughout the year, because then what happens is when she has like these annual reviews, she doesn't have to sit down for hours to think about what she did in January, February, March. You get the idea. So she has a dossier as she just goes by little. So by the time she sits down and has her annual review, she could literally dictate exactly what she did. Then from there, she could extrapolate highlights, milestones in that year and add it in her resume when she sees fit. So if the opportunity presents itself, she could just boom, send it out. And I get your point that you've been solo for 6 years. So, you may not want to update your resume, but consider what I just said. If you do come across someone that says, hey, well, I'm curious to know, I'm interested in hiring your services. Can you send me your resume? A lot of people use websites as that. I guess you could use your website as a resume. You could do that. So as you just hired McDonald's or some, huge logo, and you could add that, so that could be something to consider. This is what she said. NFT stands for non-fungible token. And this is some of that Bitcoin stuff, which is, it's really over my head. I listened to some discussions of it, but I don't make the connection. Hopefully, Marissa, let's have you on a future Cocktails with Chello. Maybe we could actually do it next week. And you can share your insights on that and see the traction. And then just how we see Akeem look on the screen, that's how we can have a few folks looking at like, okay, what the heck is this fungible thing, Fungible, what are you talking about? What you talking about, Willis, So
in the Caribbean, fudge is a little snack with milk and all kind of stuff. So you're thinking non-fungible and I'm thinking food.
Yeah, that's yeah. But that's how that works with that. All right, so now outside of what we covered thus far, we have a good amount of folks. I'm curious now. Let's go back to how we started the show, which was Ask Me Anything. Just curious to know if anyone. Thank you very much, Marissa. You saying my wife is smart. Trust me, that's the reason why I married her. I'm still trying to figure out how I convinced her to say yes. So now, my question was like, ask me anything. Let me know what you think about what folks are asking me, like, how do you start live streaming? What's the type of equipment you're doing? Just curious to know if you have any questions on live streaming, topics, feels of how we get this going. And even if you guys have any questions for our guest today, for either mentoring, resume writing, and like my dude here, what was that called? Presence again. Executive presence. There you go. If you need help making sure that you have your correct executive presence, or it's not even correct, how to actually make sure that you have that in line and need coaching on that. If you have any questions on that, you could ask the folks on the panel as well. Now, I'll ask this now, and we could probably start wrapping up at this point. Before I do that, I may bring this up here. So the NFT 𝗿𝗁 resume represents a unique digital item. Digital files such as art, audio, videos, and other forms of creative work. It's funny you bring that up. In this past week on Twit, and anyone watches that, or if you're a technology guru like me, there was a guy named Trey. He actually creates digital files. I mean, talking about it could be GIFs or even painting. And he upload these images through the service, and he's selling them through, an encrypted form, so folks cannot duplicate it. So it's essentially, imagine a digital file, but it's a unique digital file. It's kind of weird to think about that nowadays, thinking that you could do a screenshot, or drag and drop and make a printout, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. So there's so many different kind of software out there. Even if you have a watermark, you can still take that stuff, capture it. But this is a unique. So if you're interested in learning more about that, what just Marissa talked about, Google Twit, TWIT podcast. It was this past week on Twit. It's on a Sunday. It's about a 2-hour podcast. But his section, they talked about this specific topic, covered maybe the first 30 minutes of the show. So definitely, if you guys are interested in learning more about that, Google Twit, TWIT podcast, and I'll tell you more about that. So as we wrap up, Tony, what would you think? It's either a topic or better yet, what's on your mind that you would like for us to either topic, or what would you want for us to tackle as we go into we're going into the second quarter of 2021. What do you think that's on your mind that you want to help people, or you need to get going?
Well, what I would like to see, especially since we're in March, how people are either obtaining their goals, or if they've fallen off track, and how to get back on track with a New Year's goals and resolutions.
Okay, I like that. That's pretty good. And I want to reach out to the folks that just joined us. Oh, hey, goodbye. Thank you. So somebody jumped in the room. So that's a good one. I like that. That's a timely topic, because I know that I think about what's called New Year's resolutions. You know what I mean? A lot of folks by this time, either they give up on whatever resolution it might have been by now, or they're crushing it, one or the other. So we could cover what are the things that these individuals, or the typical behaviors that people that are successful are doing on a daily basis, that we could talk about, and they could implement now, because it's not too late. It's never too late. Or at this point, if they never did any New Year's resolution at this point, then they realize, I need to make a change. Then that's something we could discuss. So so let's think about either anywhere between 3 to 5 topics that we could unpack, Tony, and let's think about putting that on the calendar, and we could hit that up. Now Akeem, this guy's he's a special kind of guy right here. So now curious to know, what would you want to cover when it pertains to like resume writing, or what would you want to a bit of ask you, if you are interested in doing that, how would you want to approach it? Like, what were the topics that you want to answer that you get quite often?
Funny enough, I get some of the weirdest questions all the time. I get some things that we think would be basic common knowledge that a lot of people don't know. So I would get someone emails me their resume, pretty hot, sexy mama 100 at hotmail.com. And I have to take an hour to explain to this Gen Z person why that email address is inappropriate. And of course, they think I'm trying to take away their individuality and who they are, and I'm being an old guy. And, so there are things that we think are nothing, but it's really not. So that's why the whole Shaggy concept before. If it weren't for Shaggies, I wouldn't have work. So I have to be thankful for the Shaggies in society because once you come with a certain level of hunger and that desire to want to be better or want to do better, then hey, I would go all lengths for you. But my thing would be just FAQs, like frequently asked questions that people ask me all the time about resumes. I would love to be able to address that. So I could probably compile some, yes.
Yeah, and if anything, you could list a few. It could be anywhere between the top 3 to 5, unless you want to make it top 10. But obviously, then you got to consider time that you could unpack. But if anything, it could be anywhere between 5. I like that. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to digest. And if this is what I recommend you to do, and I recommend it to both of you gentlemen. Write an article on LinkedIn. Okay, write an article on LinkedIn, and then when you come on, we could reference that as, like the framework, right? And as then at the end, we could put a link to that in the description. And what I mean by that is that, many of you might have heard this before, that if you put a link that links out of LinkedIn, LinkedIn doesn't like it too much. So it doesn't help it to get in the, to be seen. But remember now if you actually you create an article in LinkedIn, we could put that link in the description, and LinkedIn is not going to be like, It's going to be like, yeah, I like this. You're actually going to drive traffic to an article you wrote, increase engagement. I like that. So that's something to think about. Now, then in return, that same article, you could use it as well as advertising. So you could actually use that and then forward that to individuals. So the video, you have a link to that video, you have a link to the article, and you could essentially have that information, right at your disposal. Let me, and this is what I mean by that. I'll go into my Google message here. Give me 1 second. I see one of my good friends says, hey, he's watching the live. He says, crypto, I keep the money in a banco. Crypto is, you guys already know. He's sending me a text messing around with that. Let me bring this up here. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to copy and paste it. So imagine now, I just want you to visualize here. So give me 1 second. Let me go into here. Go into my profile, and I'm going to paste this in the, here we go. I'm going to paste this right now in the dialogue. So you'll see it as live. So this is something that I paste. Oh, it didn't come out. It's pretty. So let me delete this section here. Alrighty. Okay, so here we go. So this is what I keep, and I typically always, I could just copy and paste every single time when I meet someone, and it's so easy breezy. So it's in my text. So I'll give them a business card, but this is what I do, right? And this is how and then we're gonna wrap up, and we'll have our closing discussions. And this is so simple, right? Name, email address, telephone number, and a call of action. Lock me in. I don't say Tuesday, so I should have deleted that portion, but you get the idea. Now, in this case, for you, gentlemen, or anyone else is watching this video, you can say, hey, my name is 𝗂𝗵𝗄𝗃, master resume writer. Here's a link to a video, me covering the 5 FAQs in resume writing. Boom. And then, boom, here's a link to the article that I talked about in the video. So you can literally just have that in your text. You could just go back, oh, okay, Peter, okay, you're going to just copy it. Boom. So when you have it ready, you already copied it. What's your number? 555-322. Okay, here you go. Boom. Now, twofold. This is how this works. If you have a business card, you give them a card. If you did, great. If you don't, okay. But if you have a card, you give them the card. But if you don't, then you actually send this via text. Now, 2 ways. Now you're in their phone. And you can ask their name. Boom. Ask their name. And then follow up by saying something like, all right, so then send me exactly either your full name or email address so I could actually, go from there, Let me see if I can actually show you something. Okay, you can see this right here. I'll show you right now. Let me bring up a screen. Let me share the screen with you right now. All right, let me. All right, so here we go. So this is the screen I'll show you here. So I'll zoom in and a little bit. No, I gotta go do it over here. Maybe you guys can see it better now. Okay, and I'll back out of it. So now you can see here in this section. Let me back out so I can actually see my screen. Okay, so here, see, this is the thing that I told you that I sent a text to right here. Boom. Mind you, I asked the lady that I met with, who's the contact that I need to speak to? Can you send me their email address? Here you go. John Hicks, that's his name right here. And you can see Dollar General. It's not a small account right there. It's a pretty decent company. And there you go. So now, thank you, Belinda. See, right? And I responded. And then I asked her, hey, be sure to send me your full name, title, and email. She hasn't done that already yet. But then guess what? I'm not going to do that now. It's too late. But then I can follow up. But then look at that again. Here's a link to my profile. Let's connect. So once we can connect on LinkedIn, then if we are connected on LinkedIn, guess what? We're bumping into each other because I'm in their stream. This video that I'm doing, boom, I just bumped into you. The post that I did yesterday, boom, I just bumped into you again. So that's how if I meet you today, let's connect on LinkedIn, and I'll look you up and connect. So then at this point, there's other ways that I can continue connecting with you. And it works twofold. If I want to close a deal with you, then I still is one way to follow up. Or it might be different for Tony or Akeem. It might be Facebook. And you guys, you know what I mean? Depending on your customer. So then you connect with them on Facebook, and then on that platform, then you can start posting your FAQs for a resume writing, or how to make sure that you got your executive presence, whatever it might be. So then you just constantly follow up. I know Tony does a good job of doing that. I think he has multiple posts throughout the day. So that's another way to consider. So just consider that. So just have something ready that you could copy paste and you get into their phone. And then what happens is, again, what I said earlier, when Brenda, Peter, Jack liked your service, guess what? Remember, you already sent them that same text, right? When they brag about you, they're going to say, hey, let me copy and paste this right now. I'll send it to you. This is the guy that I told you about. Connect with him. It's exactly the same information you send him or her. So it's going to be the same message. So a link to the video, the link to your article, and they got your name and number. So they don't have to repeat it, so it's pretty simple, and it works, and it's consistent. So just consider that. So just something simple that you could just put that up there and copy paste, and it's easy. Marissa saying, I just had to ask you a question. How? What are you asking about? I missed it. Okay. I'm trying to remember. Maybe what I was asking, Marissa, what I was asking Akeem was, for him to come up with 5 frequently asked questions that he gets from individuals when he's writing or fine tuning their resume.
No, I know what she's talking about.
Oh, okay. What was she talking about? Tell me.
She said she hadn't updated her resume in 4 years.
Okay.
So I asked how, and that was when she stated that she's gone solo for the last 6 years. So I think she missed why I asked how, but she did respond.
Oh, okay. No, fair enough. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, outside of what we covered thus far, if you guys, when you get an opportunity, either, mind you, writing an article is not, you're not obligated to do that, but it was just trying to think outside the box. I typically write an article a week. based on in my industry, waste and recycling. And then I put that in my feature page. And then often enough, I use that same article and I'll talk about it in my Thursday afternoon discussion on sustainability. It comes on Thursday live here at 12 p.m. Eastern. And the name of the show is Let's Talk About Trash. Let's Talk Trash. But I write content. So it's essentially I'm creating content. So then essentially I talk about it on my show. Then it circles back to the topic that I talked about. You know, so then it's at that point that I don't have to reinvent the wheel. So, and then within that same live, then I referenced the article that I talked about. So, now, wrapping things up now, curious to know, how can folks, 𝗓𝗵, how can folks connect with you, outside of LinkedIn? You know, what are the methods they can reach you? Either your website address, and if that's the case, or email address, please, you don't have to do it now, but go back to the stream and paste it so people could actually get in contact with you. But you're more than welcome to share your email address, number, or any other method that they could reach you at.
It's super simple for me. My website is 𝗓𝗵𝗲𝗏.com, so it's really super easy. However, my business, I mean, it's the same thing, 𝗵𝗲𝗏𝗏HRS.com, because my company is 𝗵𝗲𝗏 HR Solutions. But yeah, 𝗓𝗵𝗵𝗏𝗏.com, or add me on LinkedIn. I am usually almost always online, so I'm very easy to reach.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that. And mind you, this is interesting right now. Like right now, I'm literally getting a message right now from someone that I'm potentially could work with. Now, curious to know, how much of either one of you gentlemen do you guys use video messaging on LinkedIn? Do either one of you guys use it? I think Tony went like this. Oh, you do? It's sometimes. Oh, it's one of these. Like, it's not like this. It's like.
Oh no, I use it a lot.
Yeah, I use it quite often. Like I'll visit locations, and when I'm there, I'll like to touch base. So like I have I'll send a message to individuals, and like after I meet someone or I go to their location, rather than sending an email, I can still send an email, obviously. But what I'll do is that when I'm at that location, I'll send a video, it's, either recapping, or I'll follow up with a video, to the customer, that I'm working with, rather than, sending the email. I found that sometimes at that point, it works twofold, meaning that I can actually can show them exactly how, my interaction with them, or share, so they can see my emotion for that matter. And it comes across a little bit more impactful, in addition to text. So let me see here. I'm going to bring up something here. So give me 1 second so you guys can see it. And in the meantime, Tony, I want you to do me a huge favor and let folks know while I look that up. Outside of LinkedIn, how can folks connect with you?
Reach me on my website, which is structured, GI-services.com. The GI stands for growth and intentional, as well as me being a military vet as well. On Twitter, I can be reached at Agent for Change, and on Instagram, I am The Measured Man. So feel free to look me up, or you can reach me at 1-877-832-8832.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that. So this is what I was talking about now. Let me show you here. So this is an organization that I was working on, some services for, and it just happened that I visited their location, or one of their neighbors nearby. So I called the customer, and he said, "Yeah, can I call you later?" I'm like, "Sure, no problem. Have the best day ever, right? We could talk soon." Unfortunately, I didn't get the call, so it gave me many reasons. Life happens, I get that, right? But the following day, I was literally visiting one of their neighbors across the street. And my question was to him is like, what is going to be our start date? You know, we both live busy lives. So check out the brief video that I created for you. So so this is it. So I just copied the link, and mind you, the link itself, I keep it private. I don't keep it public. So I use YouTube to actually create the video. So here we go. Hey Tyrone, what's going on, sir? It is Marcello at Republic Services. Hope you're doing well. I'm actually visiting one of your neighbors, actually literally right across the street. See that empty spot? They're going to be taking over that location. So I was working with them to get their services set up. And I see that you got your container delivered. I was following up with you now to see when did you need us to start servicing that container. I'm glad you have one in place, so that one last thing we have to get delivered so we could remove that fee. So I'll update the proposal. I'll send you the paperwork without the delivery fee. Let me know when we need to get started. So talk to you later, Tyrone. Take care. Have the best day ever. I can't even talk. Bye-bye. Yeah, so that's now the neat thing is, I'm not sure.
Can we just say how young you look at that video?
So how what?
How young you look at that video.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And that was the iPhone. So there you go. Another nod for the iPhone. Thank you. One of the things that I got from that video when I created afterwards, when I was watching it, especially when I fumbled at the end, it allowed me to communicate my vulnerability, my humanity. An email cannot do that. A text cannot do that. So just consider that in the future when you are communicating or following up with people, you know, try video. And you could, if you have, and everyone has a YouTube account, it's free. Record the video, just keep it private, send them the link, and they can see it. Mind you, in my case, when they click on my face and they go to my profile, they can see this video that we're doing right now. They'll see it tomorrow or they'll see it later. And if they happen to subscribe to the channel, which sometimes they do, then guess what happens? I'm going to come up in their feed. Am I not? So that's something to consider as well. So if that is, so that you could avoid that. Oh, I'm not on LinkedIn. I don't use LinkedIn. But guess what? A lot of people are using YouTube, aren't they? Yeah. So then if they happen to click on that, and usually people click on subscribe, obviously in that video, I'm not going to ask them to subscribe to my channel, but people typically do. And if they do, guess what? As they start scrolling and they start seeing the video about Mike Tyson and whatever, Julia Roberts or anyone else, and then like, that's Marcello. You know, so just consider that. You can even create a YouTube channel. And that's another way that you could, if after having a call with someone that you just did their resume, you're like, golly, I keep getting these questions. Let me record a quick video, 1 minute, boom, post it, and then you have it there so you can have that. And same thing, you know, with like with Tony. Tony has very inspirational topics and content that he posts. You know, whatever motivates you. Maybe you can record a video and post it there as well. So that's something to think about. Yeah. So gentlemen, I can't thank you enough for joining me for Cocktails with Chello. Ask me anything / let's talk about a whole bunch of mess. But what I liked most about the conversation was that it was organic. It really wasn't, you know, it really wasn't, it was free flowing, like folks have said in the past.
You surely didn't plan this.
No, and that's the best part about it, is that we're able to have a good, relaxed conversation, and that's essentially how I like the show to be. You know, at one point, my dude said, "Boom." Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Señor Payasera, yes. But that's how it is. I mean, at one point when I looked at the clock and I said, "Okay, it's 9 o'clock," I think most likely we'll end up wrapping up out of here. It's crazy. I actually saw that. I thought that, it's 9 o'clock. We'll end up wrapping up. But look at that. We managed to squeeze another hour. And mind you, Tony knows, if anybody knows, and if you're up to it, yeah, he's chuckling. He knows that I can have a marathon show on Thursdays. I'll have a show will last for 4 hours. So much that my connection on YouTube was shut down. That's how I found out that the max that you could stream on YouTube is 4 hours. That's how I found out personally. So yeah, so I talked for 4 hours. So needless to say, that was kind of crazy. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was pretty tough. So now, what I'm thinking about next week, I'll come up with a topic, but you guys either write an article or not. But either way, let me know what the 5 items for Akeem, and I know Tony's gonna cover a few topics as well that we could tackle as well. Now, I think going forward, I'm going to continue going with 8 o'clock. I think that time works out the best. So, and I just based on, you know, the folks that asked me and the people that follow me. So I thank everyone for hanging out with me here on LinkedIn. It was a blast. I enjoyed it. For the most part, I enjoyed Akeem. Two live streams in 1 week. We had him. What was it? We had him on Link Lunch on Wednesday, and now we have him here hanging out with us here. So, you know, we can't beat that. So that's pretty good. So guys, I can't thank you enough for hanging out with me this week, and we have to do this a little bit more often. So, no, we'll do this again next week. You guys take care.
Another night, I can't sleep.